Good evening. I do have a few notes that I was preparing for this evening's, not necessarily a speech, but just a few words. First of all, we'd like to thank Lauren for all of her tremendous work in preparing for this evening. Did a great job, Lauren. Thanks for keeping everything undercover with my dad. He clearly appeared very surprised as he walked in today, so thank you. So I had the honor to be asked to say a few words from his family. And from the family, first of all, we'd like to wish him a very happy 80th birthday. Which I know is still a few weeks away. But we also want to say that we love you very much, and we're thrilled to be with you to celebrate this evening in Palm Beach, Florida. There's a lot of things that I could say about my dad, but I'll keep it very short and sweet, because I think otherwise a few people will pull me off the stage. But a few things. First of all, we'd like to introduce you all to the Griswolds. Lauren had referenced the Griswolds. We refer to the family, a few tables in the back there, as the Griswolds. This is referred to obviously as Mike and Lauren and our family, which is obviously a reference to the Chevy Chase National Lampoon movies. Why were we referred to as the Griswolds? First of all, we honestly really like spending time together. We have a tremendous amount of fun whenever we have these family get-togethers. We love each other a lot, but we have a lot of fun and a lot of laughs. But with all families, we also can be very disorganized and dysfunctional, which also leads to sort of the Griswold movies. There's a few insights into the Griswolds we'd like to share with those folks who haven't sort of seen the Griswolds in action. But there's a couple of insults we'd like to talk about. First of all, you'll know you're at a Griswold's party when you're at somebody's house and there may be 10 people at the party and you look outside and there's 10 cars in the parking lot. Because we don't coordinate very well, we tend to just show up and we're really not very caring about the environment. In fact, we believe it's a minor miracle that the 3 tables made it tonight on time. That's a little insight into the Griswolds. Secondly, is we may go a week or two without speaking with each other. And then on the exact same day, at the exact same minute, there's like 9 of us that are reaching out together on the cell phone. As I flip my page. So it's not unusual for me to be driving home from work at around 6 o'clock talking to my father, and at the same time his sister Aunt Terry will be calling him on his cell phone. At the same time my sister Nancy will be calling me, as Kathy, Richie, and Lisa are each all trying to reach my dad and their mother. All at the same time we have this immediate need to speak to each other, despite the fact we haven't spoken to each other in weeks. That's what makes you a Griswold. There's a little bit in our DNA. But to move off from the Griswolds and talk a little bit about my dad, there's a few things that we'd like to talk about my dad that some of you may or may not know. Despite, as Lawrence said earlier, a very well-educated man who worked his way through college, worked his way through law school, and has had a prestigious law career, as we all know, and very proud of. But yet he can be a very simple man, as one of his most favorite words, which he uses quite often to describe people who may annoy him at any time, and that favorite word of his is, and I'm going to ask him some family cooperation, one of his favorite words to refer to people that annoy him is idiot! He loves to refer to people as just idiots. Now, I look around the room and I must admit that many people in this room have been referred to as including myself. He says it very affectionately, he says it with a smile, but nobody is safe. If you're playing golf with him and you're on his team and you miss a short putt, he's whispering something under his breath, chances are he's calling you idiot! If you're driving in his car and the stranger cuts him off on Forest Hill Boulevard and he says something under the breath, the one word he's probably saying is idiot! Thank you. That's a little bit about my dad. So we'll move on. One of the other things that we love about my dad is at a young age of 80, he has been able to stay very open-minded and very tolerant of other viewpoints in the world. Itself, I think, suggests a joke if you know my dad. So at the end of aging, we find that very beautiful and refreshing. Of course, that open-mindedness and tolerance of others would exclude the following groups. All Democrats. Anyone who ever has watched or likes NASCAR. Anyone with a tattoo. Any men with earrings would certainly be not in a group my father would be very open-minded with. Anybody who doesn't eat meat would not be considered somebody my father would be fond of. He's also not very open-minded and tolerant of jet fares in general. Anybody who practices the religion of Scientology would also have a very difficult time completing a meal with my father. Of course, about his pizza fetish, if you're somebody who likes a foo-foo topping on your pizza, like seafood or ham and pineapple, that's also somebody that's probably not going to get along with my dad that much. And then lastly, he really doesn't get along with anybody who likes Avatar or any kind of animated movie, because the man has very little imagination or creativity. And constantly asks questions like, how can that be? But yet it's just an animated TV show. So those were a few things that we wanted to just introduce everybody to my dad. But on a serious note, we also would like to very much say congratulations on your 80th birthday. We love you very much. Appreciate all that you've done for us as a family. And we thank you for being you.